Oh, one more quick one at the back.
I've been to more and more of these conferences where you get this group of women together in a room, and I think it's really valuable because actually, you know, there's a lot of shared obstacles, shared concerns, shared sort of, you know, experiences, and it's a great way to talk them through. Sometimes it's just the kind of that empowerment, and you tend to get that when you get a group of women together and they kind of come out and it's like, we can do this.
One key piece of advice to the women here today is don't believe that being a woman is ever going to hold you back in any way. Just choose what it is that you want to do, whether it's career, whether it's home, whether it's a blend of the two, and then get on with it. And don't feel that you should be held back or stopped in any way by being a woman. Just make it work for you.
They thought, oh, well, it's only a laugh, you know, when some guy had made some Jimmy Savile style, approaches to people. And when I look back now at those days and I think about that conspiracy of silence around that sort of behaviour, it outrages me. It absolutely outrages me, and I can feel my hackles rising even as I'm speaking now.
And it's really difficult, as Denise said. You know, one day you're at a board meeting, you know, the Irish Embassy the night before, and then you're juggling. How are you going to get them to school? Have you packed the lunchbox? Have you got the right shoes? And actually, a lot of the time you feel like a failure. A huge part of my time I feel I'm failing everybody. But I think it's really important that we admit that to other people, because I think that's a huge responsibility that we have, and it gives everybody else permission to feel like that.
We talk about having these quotas, and it's very damaging for women because you put women into positions before they're ready. So let's get women ready.
It's very interesting to see how many different sort of walks of life, different professions and entrepreneurs and people who work within companies with entrepreneurial spirit or without, who just do a good job. I think it's very interesting to listen to what people have to say. I mean, the three panellists, or the two others I sat with, have both got very diverse careers to the one I'm following, but it's nice to share experiences.
It's very interesting to me as to why there are so many women entrepreneurs, why women do set up their own businesses. I know for myself, I set up Denise Kingsmill & Co., a firm of lawyers, because when I was working as a lawyer, I approached my principals and asked when I was going to be made a partner, when was that going to be appropriate. And they said, well, we've never had a woman partner, and, you know, we don't think you're going to be the first. So what are you supposed to do? So I set up my own firm and set about stealing their clients.
The lessons I think I've learned from what I've done is, firstly, don't be afraid of what you don't know. In fact, really actually knowing what you don't know in the first place is quite a good step forward. And don't be afraid of change.
I think sometimes people say, oh, you can't do that because you've got a baby. You can't do that because, you know, you're about to have a baby. And I think actually that's in their opinion. In my opinion, I could do anything I want.
Do I think that women are perhaps more averse to taking that kind of risk with people's lives? Yes, probably. Is that a good thing? Yes, as it turned out, certainly for us. So I think the answer is women, absolutely, I think, go for it. But are they a bit more cautious around money? Probably. You know, maybe we wouldn't have had the financial crisis if a few more of them had been running the place.
That's for sure.
You work late into the night, you get up early, and you make it work. And I don't think, you know, it really annoys me when people kind of talk about men and women in very different sort of verticals. I think we all have the same instincts. We all have the same abilities. It's how we decide to execute them.
In these difficult times, I'm happy to make an operational profit, and the papers can report whatever they like about your results and tell you how badly you're doing, but I know we could do a lot better when the economy picks up. I hope we do. But in the meantime, I think you can just take pride in what you have achieved, which is a strong company with strong cultural values, and that in itself is worth a lot.
It was interesting to know that all these women do have quite supportive husbands who have been in a financially good position, but it doesn't necessarily, if you don't have that, it doesn't stop you from doing what you want to do.
What's most poignant for me is the fact that they are working mums and they've done it all whilst juggling a family, so it resonates with me very closely.
One of the issues that came up was the genuine anxiety that a lot of women feel about even asking for salary increases and asking for them at the kind of correct level for sums of money that they're actually worthy of and due.
Women will often minimise their contribution and talk about how great their teams are. They will expect someone to see how brilliant they are and tap them on the shoulder and be very upset and cross when they're not. They're not necessarily comfortable with promoting themselves. with working on their visibility. For many women, stepping into a new position of power with integrity often feels very uncomfortable.
If you're thinking about you might move, go and see headhunters. Don't just look at ads. Go and talk to headhunters. They will give you a sense of what you might be able to earn. They know the market really well, so they will know what people are earning for your sort of job in your sort of size organisation. And if you're looking for a promotion, what somebody in that role might expect to earn.
The issue of pay is quite difficult. It's difficult because you're emotionally involved in it, because it's about your self-worth and your self-belief. So you have to learn to separate that question from the negotiation that you have to have, and you have to ask for it like on any other business deal and then negotiate your way out. But you need to create some emotional disassociation in order to do so.
Madeleine Albright said once, where she said there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And I think women are very good at helping other women, and it's on days like today that women can really take a day to learn, to get inspired, to take some tips.
The variety of speakers and the quality of speakers has been incredible, and I think the level of interaction with the people in the room has been great.
I think also the variety of speakers has given us a lot of different perspectives on different industries as well.
Take the time out that you need and then come back in, and you'll still be that great person you were before you went on maternity leave. You know, we've just had a great example of, I've just promoted a woman that's not been 2 minutes back from maternity. Don't worry about what other people might be thinking. You were a good person before you maybe had a career break. You're still a great person. In fact, I would say you're even better, because now you can multi-skill like there's no tomorrow.
Really juggle.
Yeah.
The speaker from Sky was really inspirational, and I think her advice about going with your gut instinct was an extremely valuable piece of advice that I'll definitely be following.
Position yourself as a future leader, not as a future assistant. Women have a tendency to be too helpful, work too hard, and think, isn't it great, I'm the first one here, I'm the last one here. No, because you're seen as the person who's going to sit there, never really going to move forward. Because why would someone promote you when you're doing all the dog's work and sit there? They'll take someone over that. So I think you do have to find that balance of being helpful, but not showing that to say you're just the admin person. And that's something I think I made quite a big mistake on when I was at Goldman, because I just wanted to sort of show that I was really keen. So I actually left Goldman because I wasn't going to get promoted.
I think you have to kind of put on a sort of armour. I mean, men brilliantly protect themselves. I think even if people are projecting confidence, they're not necessarily feeling it inside. And I don't think that really matters, because you've got to fake it to make it. So if if you project confidence and you believe you are confident and you just get out there and do it, actually you will feel more confident, because you'll see it's never as bad as you think it might be.
If you look at the broadcasters in the UK, so the heads of Channel 4, ITV, Channel 5, Sky, BBC, all men. So there's definitely senior female representation. It's definitely not a disadvantage to be a woman, like it may be in some other industries, but you still predominantly have the issue that in the kind of chief exec suite, or C-suite, as I think the Americans call it, you're still at the kind of 10-20% level. Hugely generalising, but men do tend to say, I'm going to get this position, and then I'll do this, and then I'll buy that. Like, why do that? It closes your mind. So now I'm much better at being open to possibilities, and I do back myself, but then I'm quite ambitious, and ambition is a word that in general, when it's used about women, it's considered detrimental. Ambitious for us as women makes you sound like you're a backstabbing cow, whereas on men, it's a hugely complimentary phrase.
Do you think that's still true even these days? You do?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I would have said before that you don't need quotas, that we shouldn't have quotas. But now I think, well, you should only not have quotas if you believe there are not enough top-notch women to fill the quota. So until you think there's a pool of bad candidates, you can have a quota. And I don't believe there's a pool of bad candidates.
Today, women are their own people. And so I think that if a woman wants to start a business, she's got just as much a chance as a man. But in my day, women were really very, very minor. It's just that I happened to be in a business that was very woman-orientated. We could be in business together because I went in the fitting room and he didn't. And that's an amazing thing when you can be in business with your husband or with somebody else where you're each doing a different job and getting on with it rather than having to consult each other every 5 minutes.
I guess my advice would be learn where your true north is in your life and your career will follow. I do believe we can go and be the best we can be, to follow our head and our hearts and really work hard to be the best we can be if we've sort of got that compass. So that would be my advice, is, you know, find your true north, work on your life and your career will follow. Laugh. A sense of humour is really important. Taking your work seriously does not mean taking yourself seriously. And I guess the just do it. Say, you know, say yes, panic later.
Thank you to everybody that's participated. Thanks so much.